live on air. Live on air, ladies and gentlemen. It's Saturday, the 9th of January, 2021. It's the prodigious, the prominent professor at Proclamation News and Gatherings. When yesterday's the old 84-year-old getting burgled from his own house. He had a gun license, 2 shotguns in Essex. Been taken. He's strangled to death by 2 young age around about 20 years of age. Absolute abysmal behaviour. Absolute atrocious. I mean, what sort of psychomotor state of men's rehabilitation makes you want to follow a man of 84 years of age to take his, knowing that he's got a gun license, knowing that he's got 2 shotguns in his house, to go and break in his house, strangle him to death and take his 2 shotguns? That is absolutely extraordinary extravaganza. Absolutely. It's disgusting. Disgusting. What has the world come to? I mean, I'll tell you what the world's come to. The world has come to a lot, not all of them. Some people can condone themselves, they can condone themselves. But a lot of it is metropolitan lunatic asylums. People that don't know how to, take their alcoholism and narcotics. So if you're going to do it, take it in small doses or don't do it at all. Take it in small doses or don't do it at all. In moderation or don't do it at all. Simple. What I do today is breathe the fresh air and a little bit of vape. I've given up smoking as of yesterday. And I'm hoping by the end of the week I'll still be just doing the same. Working on that progression. Thank you so much all for listening. How long I've been sitting here doing this show? Especially Castbox listeners. I've been Castbox for over 2 years now. Anyway, before we move on, UK politics at its finest degree. Absolutely. Because if you're going to sign up for a party, you got, the left wing, you got the right wing, you got centre right, you got SNP as well, Lib Dems, Labour, Conservative. I'm not going to force you to sign up Conservative, but as I am Conservative myself, I'm not going to be biased towards my party, but I'm going to give you what's in front of me right now. Sign up for the Conservatives. Which membership is right for you? See, look, I'm not being narcissistic. It's talking about myself. I'm giving you an idea. If you want to sign up and you're under the age of 26, it's important. You could have. Why shouldn't your youth of today be involved in politics? As an adult, even if you drink or you have parties at the weekend, you don't really have much. Just give your child something to do. They might not necessarily want to lead the same path as you. Give your child a different direction in life. Under 26, listen, it doesn't matter if you're 13. Get your child involved in politics. I wish I did. Boris was probably bred into it. I've done media studies probably. I think I was about 13. I should have carried on through, but I'm carrying on now, so that's all that matters. I was doing media studies about age 13, 14. I'm pretty sure Boris he's been bred into him as well. Under 26, £5 per year. £5 nothing, is it? Standard membership and all associated benefits is offered at a special £5 rate to those aged under 26. If you want to get involved, you want to message your local constituency MP. You want to. They answer your messages pretty promptly. I'm with Will Quince. Will Quince is absolute phenomenal guy. I was up in Hertfordshire not so long ago, Grant Shapps, and trying to get a message back of him is pretty hard. But they're doing their job. I wasn't actually I didn't have a standard membership at the time, but now I have. They do help you with quite a lot of problems. A lot of problems, believe me. Anyway, a standard membership is £25 a year. Members play an active role in the party, can attend our annual conference and receive voting rights in party elections after 3 months of membership. All form £25 a year or just £2.09 per month. In the armed forces, it's £15 per year. Standard party membership and all associated benefits is offered at a reduced rate for serving and former members of the armed forces. I mean, what do you get with your membership? You know, if you're an ex-armed forces or in the armed forces, or if you're just going for a standard membership, it's £25 or under 26. What do you get? You're paying that money yearly. What do you get? Fish and chips at the end of it? What do you get? That's what you want to know, isn't it? It'd be nice if we got fish and chips there, but no. What do you get through paying your membership? What your membership gets you? It helps us win elections. I mean, if you look at the International Bill of Rights, you know, fair trade, all about equalities, exactly what Conservatives stand for. So if that's what you want for your nation, then choose it. Choose candidates and vote in leadership elections. So you can choose the people you want to represent you. Take part in our campaign groups, like the Conservative Women's Organisation or Young Conservatives. Meet like-minded people and make a difference to our country. Come to conference. Join our MPs, councillors and activists in the biggest event of the Conservative calendar. Get the latest from inside the party with regular members' updates and exclusive member invites. Influence party policy by giving feedback on policy briefs. Connect with local Conservatives. As a member, you become part of your local association, support local campaigns and attend social events with members just like you. Stand for election. Members have the opportunity to stand for election as Conservatives. So if you decide you want to take part in our democracy, you can. Thank you all for coming through. I'm part of the Aristocracy Social League, and I'm taking this more in an etiquette sense than ever before. And I'm not letting nothing or no one get in my way from, I've always been etiquette anyway. I might have had a day off here and there, but there's no more days off, and I mean that for the bottom of my heart is what we can pursue. I want a bigger, better, brighter audience with like-minded people just like myself that do not take alcoholism or narcotics, are pretty, capital P with impurity. I want to be the best tuition for the audience. I want to be the best tuition for my children, the best father to my kids, and the best son to my mother and father. So this is how I'm progressing the next year. I mean, I had a small drink on Boxing Day. I kicked myself for it. I hadn't had a drink for 5 years previous to that. But, it's Christmas. Let hair down once in a while. But to be a better person, you have to mop your floors and move on. And exactly what I'm doing from today. Today is D.Day to get up, shape up, ship up, or get out. Better yourself. It's simple as that. I am a man mountain. I'm a machine, and I will not be broken for no man or beast. Anyway, Indonesia. So Sriwijaya air passenger plane missing after takeoff. A passenger plane with more than 50 people on board has gone missing shortly after takeoff from the Indonesian capital, Jakarta. Sriwijaya Air Boeing 737 lost contact en route to Pontianak in West Kalimantan province, officials said. Flight tracking website FlightTrader24.com said the aircraft had lost more than 300 million, 10,000 feet in altitude in less than 1 minute. Pictures of what seemed to be aircraft debris appeared on TV and social media. A number of residents of Ireland near where the plane disappeared told the BBC Indonesian service they had 4 objects they thought were from the plane. The Transport Ministry said search and rescue efforts were underway. It said last contact with the plane with the call sign SJY182 was made at 14:40 local time, 7:40 GMT. According to registration details, the plane is a 27-year-old Boeing 737-500. Sriwijaya Air, a local carrier, said it was still gathering information about the flight. The plane is not a 737 MAX. The Boeing model involved in 2 crashes in recent years. The first of those in October 2018 involved an Indonesian Lion Air flight, which plunged into the sea about 12 minutes after takeoff from the Jakarta, killing 189 people. Transport include aviation incidents are relatively common in Indonesia because of overcrowding and aging infrastructure and lax safety standards. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for coming through. I really appreciate it. This is Proclamation News and Governance. Hello there, from Iran. How you doing there, my friend? Hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Short, brisk break. This will be a phenomenal show. I really appreciate everyone coming through. This is what we're adamant. Trying to be biased, if you know, just with the Conservative. Because the Conservative means traditional. Bona fide means genuine, and exactly what I am. No ifs or buts. I get by purely off the aesthetics of life. Purely off the aesthetics of life. I'm not here for a good time. I'm here for a long time. That's simple as you can see it. What is in front of you is what you see. What you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. Bear with me, you lovely lot. Just wanna. Where is it? Alright, here we go. I want to play this. Joey Chesney got stabbed at Howard Hill.
Give me the man with cold hands, warm heart for this beat. Welcome, welcome. Can we get a proclamation up in here? Yeah. Mince beef. I ain't getting no grief. Gonna need a man with cold hands, warm heart for this beat. Yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can we get a proclamation up in here? Yeah. With the love of God, she did not prevail. So we lost an angel, and an angel has been taken from us. It's astonishing behavior on the threat knife crime all over the globe. Put down your weapons, kids. This is getting beyond ridiculous. The seething king of young girl Jodie Chesney, up in London by Howard Hill. He decided it's some sort of thrill to use a dumbass blade and kill. Yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. Can we get a proclamation up in here? With the love of God, she did not prevail, but we lost an angel, and that angel is taken. Astonishing behavior on sporadic knife crime. Put down your weapons, kids. This game beyond ridiculous. The sickening killing of young girl Jodie Chesney, up in London by Howard Hill. Decided some sort of thrill to use a dumbass blade and kill. According to her boyfriend, the tour guy who approached her, the two figures reached over and slapped her in the back of master breast. I mean, what was it in tornado? Some sort of joke. You call this fun or some sort of sick joke? The shooting killing of young girl Jodie Chesney up in London by Howard Hill. Decided it's some sort of thrill to use dumbass blade and kill. According to her boyfriend, the tour guy who approached her, after two figures reached over and stabbed her in the back from monster first. I mean, what's her tornado? Some sort of joke. Call this fun or some sort of sick joke. What have you done to her poor family and boyfriend Eddie Cole, leaving them all hysterical? I'm singing this lyrical beat to get the youth of today up on their feet. Knife crime isn't way forward, but a way to breathe. What have you done to her poor family and boyfriend Eddie Cole, leaving them all hysterical? I'm singing this lyrical beat to get the youth of today and put them up on their feet. Knife crime isn't a way forward, but a way to breathe. This is my reason I disagree with the youth today. Sporadic night crime all over the globe. Here we go, watch it back crossing the world. This song goes on with my heart consolidated statement to Miss Chesney's family. Rest in peace, and God bless to the family and boyfriend of this young girl taken away only a couple of months ago. Another angel has been taken. This song goes on with my heart consolidated statement to Miss Chesney's family. Rest in peace, and God bless to the family and boyfriend of this young girl taken away only a couple of months ago. Another angel has been taken away.
Thank you, ladies and gents. I really appreciate it. Moving on to the next part of the show. Look at COVID deaths in the UK. COVID deaths in the UK, ladies and gents. Just bear with me quickly, 2 seconds. It's going to take 2 seconds for this next part. So I'm just going to do a live video on Facebook as well. Thank you all for tuning in this afternoon. Thank you all for tuning in this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's proclamation, news and gatherings. Talk about the COVID deaths. It's a COVID deaths in the United Kingdom. COVID deaths is a record of 1,325 more people in the UK die after catching COVID-19. It is the highest number of UK deaths reported on a single day, while there was also a record rise in the number of coronavirus cases. The UK has reported of a record of 1,324 more COVID-related crisis deaths in the space of 24 hours. The number the highest of any day since the pandemic began, beating the previous record of 1,224 and the record on April the 21st. UK total now is 79,833. The figure refers to people who have died within 28 days of positive COVID tests. Here's a quick primer on how to take sense of the daily updates. There was also a record number of cases reported in 24-hour period of 68,053. Sobering numbers come on the same day that a third coronavirus vaccine was approved for the use in the UK. So you're taking things, very, very seriously. I mean, it's 3 COVID vaccines just come out. I'm just going to let you know what they are now. The jab from the US biotech firm Moderna has been given the green light by the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency MHRA. Joining the vaccines are Pfizer, BioNTech and Oxford AstraZeneca. Sorry if I'm looking at my YouTube just above me as well, or my YouTube, Castbox and my Facebook on. I'm trying to look at all my cameras while I'm doing all my media. But thank you all for coming through it. So I'm just letting you know, despite of the COVID thing is very, very, it's violent, killing people. It's coming out of the blue. It's just in the air. People breathing it in and they're catching COVID. I know so many people have had COVID. Some of my family, my son's got COVID at the minute. Everyone's fighting COVID. Well, he's coming out the other end actually, luckily enough. But his mum, my son's mum has catch COVID, and that is worrying because some eyes catching COVID is a bit of a worry. The child can. I was very, very worried about my son, don't get me wrong, but a child has a bit more, their immune system's a bit more reluctant to fighting it. Their immune system's a little bit stronger, but there has been children as such as young at the other end. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, on Facebook, I'm called that, I'm on YouTube, my link's underneath this thing if you want to follow me on YouTube, you can carry on with the show. The jab from the US biotech from firm Moderna has been given the green light by the Medicines and Healthcare Product Regulatory Agency (MHRA) during the vaccines from Pfizer, BioNTech, and Oxford AstraZeneca. On the same day, the Mayor Sadiq Khan declared a major incident in London as coronavirus transmission rates continue to soar across the capital. It follows reports on Thursday that London's hospitals are on the verge of being overwhelmed by coronavirus, even under the best case scenario, according to an official briefing. The latest statistics show that Barking and Dagenham in London continues to have highest COVID rates in England, with 3,331 new cases recorded in their 7 days up to January the 3rd, the equivalent of 1,464.5 cases per 100,000 people. This is up from 1,147 in the 7 days to December 27. Thurrock in Essex has the second COVID case rate, up from 1,314.1 to 1,494.2, with 2,605 new cases. Redbridge, also in London, is in the third place, where the rate has increased from 1,191 to 1,467.1, with 4,417 new cases. 315 local areas in England. 309, 98% have seen a rise in cases rates in the last week. More than half of the major hospital trusts in England currently have more COVID-19 patients than at the peak of the first wave of the virus. New answers revealed on Friday. Thank you all for coming in, supporting the show daily. Segment, we're going to have a short break after this. Thank you all so much, it means a lot. We'll try and keep it an hour-long show. We're going to look at what Trump's got to say. What has Trump got to say? What has Trump got to say? Oh, where are we? Where is my screen gone? Bear with me. My YouTube's gone for walkies. I'm hoping everyone on YouTube can still see me because something. Here we go. Trump permanently banned from Twitter due to risk of further incitement of violence. US President has more than 88 million followers on the platform. How US President Donald Trump was permanently banned from Twitter on Friday because of the risk of further incitement of violence. Less than 2 weeks before the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden, the social media company removed the commander-in-chief after rioters overtook the Capitol on Wednesday, leading to the deaths of at least 4 people. The US President had more than 88 million followers on the platform, which he had used as his springboard on the White House. A statement posted on Twitter's blog said it had made it clear previously that the president's account was not above our rules and said it took action in the context of a horrific affair this week. On Wednesday, Twitter temporarily blocked Trump's account following the siege of Capitol Hill by pro-Trump protesters and warned that additional violations by the president's account would result in permanent suspension. Later on Friday, Twitter said 2 of Trump's tweets posted during the day had violated its glorification of violence policy. They were the 75 million great American patriots who voted for me. Americans first and make America great again will have a giant voice long into the future. They will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, shape or form. And to all those who have asked, I will not be going to the inauguration on January the 20th. This statement, after a close review of recent tweets from the @Real Donald Trump account and the context around them, specifically they are being received and interpreted off Twitter. We have permanently suspended the account due to the risk of further incitement of violence. In the context of horrific events, we made it clear on Wednesday that additional violations of the Twitter rules would potentially result in this very course of action. A public interest framework exists to enable the public to hear from elected officials and the world leaders directly. It is built on the principle that the people have a right to hold power to the account in the open. However, we made it clear, going back years, that the accounts are not above our rules entirely and cannot use Twitter to incite violence, among other things. We will continue to be transparent around our policies and their enforcement. This is a briefing news story and will be updated. Ladies and gents, I just want to give you an update. I mean, I've been looking on Facebook, I've been looking on social media. Some of these fathers in these A&A parent groups coming out with such stupid stuff. I mean, They're in a league of their own. They're in a league of their own. We talk about all the walk, all the walks of life, the intelligent, you think people, people think they're above themselves, but really they're not. I'm one of those people, I sit there, I'm observing, almost 24 hours a day. Even when I'm asleep, I'm dreaming, observing. I'm keeping myself preserved. I keep myself. Don't have no friends. Don't have no circle. I don't need circle. I don't need people. I don't need sheep. And I don't want to be in circles that don't do no good for my life. So anyway, this is how the spanner was left in the works. So the guys, the alienated fathers, we're having a COVID crisis. We want to go back to normal. So the guys in the alienated father group, they want to have they're organising a big protest. I'm an alienated father. I'm an alienated father. I could have gone, I'll come to the protest. I'll come to the protest. But nah, we're lockdown. Risk of COVID. Risk of COVID. So I'm not going to breach the law of protest. What an absolute monstrosity. Absolute joke, isn't it? Why would alienated fathers go on a protest outside of court? Boris Johnson, I mean, even the parents that have been seeing their children are not allowed to just chop and change with the children. It doesn't matter. I mean, if the mother's working and she uses kids, she's going to let the father have the kids if she's got, by any means, she's got any intelligence. She thinks, I need to work, I need to keep the house going, I'll let the father have the kids. The father ain't working. So why would the father, fathers then, obviously they're trying to fight for their rights of children, same as me. But as a real father, if you're any decent human being, it's throwing times all of us, but you'd sit and hold tight in your circle. You'd look at the four walls for 2 years if it means that you can. I'm suffering in silence. I'm suffering no one to talk to. I'm suffering no one to support me. But if I can't sit in silence on my own, what sort of father am I? I'm going to be a father to my children. That's it. That's all that matters in life. It's not about, a lot of these fathers crying like babies. They're going out partying, dipping their wick, acting like a complete monstrosity. Why bother? Why would you bother? The most important thing in life are your kids. If you're not being a parent to your kids, then you're lucky, very, very lucky. Anyway, got a little speech from Boris Johnson today.
Hi guys, so Boris Johnson was interviewed by Andrew Marr on the Andrew Marr show from the BBC. Now, I can't show you the video because of copyright issues, but I will let you listen to this snippet of audio. Now, in the interview, Boris Johnson was talking about many issues, and in particular about Scottish independence, which is going to be a big issue this year. Now, Andrew Marr asked the question in a very interesting way. He asked it from the point of view of a Scottish voter. Unfortunately for him, he didn't stop there and continued to dig deeper, which I think made the situation much worse. So let's hear this car crash of an interview.
I think that obviously the most important thing is the referendum that you had in 2014, which was a very important.
Before Brexit and before the pandemic, things have changed. A lot of people want to leave the UK.
Life moves on, things change. I don't particularly. If you're saying that you would like to have another referendum,
this Scottish voter would like another referendum, and wants the Democrat. He's only got a vote, so he wants to use that vote to allow it to happen. How can they do that?
I think the only point I would make is that referendums, by experience, direct experience in this country, are not particularly jolly events. They don't have a notably unifying force in the national mood. They should be only once in a generation, and I think that was what. I think that was what our friends.
What is different about the English wanting to leave the EU and having a referendum and being allowed to do that, and Scotland wanting to leave the UK and doing exactly the same thing? What's the difference?
The difference is that we had a referendum in 1975, and we then had another one in 2016. That seems to be about the right sort of gap.
All right,
how about that?
Okay, there are a few things to talk about here. So first of all, this once-in-a-generation response to Scottish independence requests. Alex Salmond was the SNP leader during the first request for a referendum. Alex Salmond is no longer the leader of the SNP. So whatever the SNP requested back in 2014 cannot be used as a stick to beat the SNP in 2020. Now, manifestos change. As I've said in other videos, the Conservative Party used to be pro-European. Now they're anti-European. Their manifesto changed. Why can the SNP's manifesto not change? But that argument is still invalid because it's not just the SNP that's asking for a second referendum. Other independence movements are asking for one, and even the Green Party supports Scottish independence. So it's frankly disingenuous dismissing requests for independence because of something someone said 6 years ago. Now, I was truly taken aback when Boris Johnson described referendums as divisive, as something that separates people, that doesn't bring people together. They're not unifying. Boris Johnson criticizing a referendum, that was just gold. The fact that he would say, the Brexit referendum was a demonstration of democracy, but when it comes to the Scottish people asking for a referendum, well, we don't really like those things because they're very divisive. I've said this before. The Scottish people were tricked into voting to stay in the Union under the threat of Brexit. They decided to go along with the leaders at the time, the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats, the Conservatives, and vote to stay in the Union. Then they were basically thrown under a bus by the Conservative Party because of rumblings within their party, the yahoos within their party who wanted a referendum to leave the European Union. They got what they wanted. And the Scottish people, after that, voted to stay in the European Union, and their request was ignored. The Scottish government, under the SNP, attempted to mitigate the damage of Brexit by organising meetings with Boris Johnson and his government. Those requests were ignored. And now Boris Johnson has the brash face to turn around and say, referendums are divisive, they're not unifying, we shouldn't really have them. Look, I have said before, if Boris Johnson truly believes that the Union is strong, if Jacob Rees-Mogg believes that the Union is strong, if the Conservative Party, both in England and in Scotland, believe that the Union is strong, they should welcome a second referendum. It would demonstrate that the Union is strong. Why is Boris Johnson running away from a referendum? He has talked before about the Brexit referendum being a demonstration of democracy, a clear example of democracy at work. So surely he would be supportive of a referendum in Scotland. Is it possible that he realises that the Union is not strong, that the Conservative Party are not good at selling the Union, that every time he speaks, he strengthens the call for independence? I actually believe the latter doesn't get through Boris Johnson's stall because he doesn't actually surround himself with people who convince him, Boris, you need to shut the hell up. The more you speak, the stronger Nicola Sturgeon looks. The more you speak on the pandemic, the stronger Keir Starmer looks. The more you talk about Scotland, the more people want Scotland to become an independent country. The Conservative Party, the Conservative and Unionist Party, look hell-bent on destroying the United Kingdom. They've already started Northern Ireland on the road to reunification with the Republic of Ireland. In public, they seem to be convinced that they want Scotland to remain part of the denigrate, dismiss, ignore the request from the Scottish people via their representatives in Westminster. They strengthen the push for independence. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think or what you thought about Boris Johnson's answers. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?
So I have a remote job where I work from home and work only 5 hours a week. But the craziest part is I get paid around $95,000 per year. Now before you tell me, you're full of you can't work that little and make that much, that's impossible. A job like this does not exist. Let me disprove that by all the job offers you can see right here that I've gotten in the past. Jobs that pay me $65,000, $85,000, $95,000 per year salary for me to just work part-time. Online jobs that were 100% remote that allowed me to work from home, working just a couple hours a week. Now, even with this, you might say, well, maybe you're an outlier, maybe that's a 1 in a million chance. Well, you can see my students right here that were able to get job offers just like mine within just about 11 to 30 days of learning about this new remote online job. And my students are able to get secure salaries that pay them around $65,000 to $100,000 per year. Some of them actually make more than that and make more than me, which is kind of embarrassing. Now, here's the crazy part. Most of my students that I taught this to, they had zero experience. They didn't even know what this job was when they started. And now a lot of them are making past $75,000 per year. Because the most common misconception that we're taught about in school and in life is that in order to get a secure and stable job, you need to go to school for at least 4 to 8 years to get some crazy MBA, some crazy bachelor's. You need to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into some crazy degree. You need to get years and years of work experience to get any decent paying job. And you need to know a lot of technical skills like computer programming or engineering or any other specialized skills. You can see people like here, like June. June was in college. He got a job within just 11 days of learning about this new online job. Iggy right here, Iggy makes over 6 figures with his online job, and he doesn't have any college degree. And all these people you're seeing right here, they started this out with no previous work experience, no special technical skills or computer programming knowledge. And a lot of them either were still in school, dropped out of college, or completely changed careers to start this new remote job. Now, I'm not saying change careers to do this. You can totally do this on the side, working just part-time, and make extra side income of about $5,000 to $7,000 per month. See, my students are able to get online part-time jobs with salaries that range between $60,000 to $100,000 per year, doing the exact same thing that me.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. Canby Island, ladies and gentlemen. Canby Island, Hawkesbury Road, armed police and dog until rush to Essex Road after incident. Multiple police units rushed to Residential Road in Canby Island last night. Local reported that they saw armed police and dog units on the scene at Hawkesbury Road in Canby Island, Essex, at around 11 p.m. Friday, January the 8th. Photos taken at the scene showed multiple police cars parked up curbside on the road. Essex Police have explained why teams were sent to the scene. An Essex Police spokesperson said, "We carried out a warrant at an address in Hawkesbury Road, Canby Island, at around 7 p.m. on Friday, 8th of June. A 53-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of cannabis cultivation and is currently in custody." Hawkesbury Road is a residential road in south of the island, close to the Concord Rangers football ground. It is also a one-way street over the Canby Infant and Canby Junior School. So cannabis is illegal, isn't it? Interesting, that. Essex COVID vaccine. Essex COVID vaccine. Patients queue for hours in cold as vaccination centres run out of vaccines. Basildon Council's leaders had slammed the government's vaccine rollout, only to be told they had to run out of COVID-19 vaccines. Basildon Council leader Gavin Callaghan is urging the government to rethink their vaccine rollout strategy after it is claimed that pensioners in their 80s were among those waiting for hours outside the Holy Trinity Church vaccine centre close to Basildon Town Centre. When they got to the front, they were told the centre had run out of vaccines and they would have to come back next week. Similar scenes reported occurred at the George Hurd Centre nearby. The CLLR Callaghan has been called the rollout in Basden madness. He tweeted, "If Boris Johnson wants a chin in Basden today," he added, 80 plus years old, queuing for hours in the freezing cold, only to be told NHS has run out of vaccines, so go home and come back next Friday. And it's not the first time it's happened. In December, the CLR Callaghan wrote a plea to Health Secretary Matt Hancock after GP surgeries ran out of the vaccine. All you listeners, there's no business like show business, and it's coming off the cuff. I mean, all you men and women that sit there, you're on 3 days a week, 7 to 8 or 8 to 9, EastEnders. I mean, have a bit of reflect over what we lost last year. Lost through dementia, 84 years old, wasn't she? 84, 85, was it? Barbara Windsor. Oh, Babs, the owner of the Queen Vic at once upon a time. Phil and Grant Mitchell's mum, was she? In EastEnders? I'm not really a massive EastEnders fan, but going back when I used to watch it, I'm pretty sure she's Phil and Grant Mitchell's mother, I believe. Could be wrong. You can tell me if I'm wrong. But our Barbara Windsor, she passed away through dementia. What an absolute shame. Absolute shame. I'm not sure how old she was, by the way. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I ain't got a foggiest of an idea. I ain't got the shortest clue of an idea. Times like this, do they bring families back together? I don't know. Really don't know. If I'm in all honesty, it's freezing cold. I'd love to live in Nigeria. I couldn't care if I was on a little island on my own anymore. As long as it's warm. I'd fishing rod. No, I'll be bored. I need people around me. But you know what? Does it bring people back together? I like being around my family. It's been nice around Christmas. Being around my family. It's been lovely. Absolutely splendid. Marvellous. Thank you all for coming through. Just talking a bit about show business of Barbara Windsor. Anyway, moving on. Thank you for coming through supporting the show. It means a lot. COVID-19. Government denies dubbing BT's Wi-Fi for pupils offer. The government has denied it snubbed an offer for telecoms giant BT to provide disadvantaged children with internet access for remote learning. BT said the government had struggled to distribute the Wi-Fi vouchers and effectively handed them back to us. However, a spokesman for the Education Department said a pilot of the scheme had not provided reliable and consistent internet connection. UK schools are closed to most pupils as part of the coronavirus lockdown measures. Teachers have had to revert to online learning, as was the case during the first lockdown in spring. However, concerns have been raised over how this impacted disadvantaged families who don't have internet access. In a letter to BT, Labour MP Sarah Owen urged the company to provide school children who cannot afford it with internet access so they can learn, achieve and stay connected. In response, Mark Elira, head of BT's consumer brand division, said BT was the first telecoms operator to have an offer for vulnerable families, adding that it had offered BT with Wi-Fi vouchers from June 2020. Unfortunately, the Department of Education struggled to distribute these vouchers effectively and hand them back to us, he wrote. The pressure is on both government and telecoms companies to do more to close the digital divide. It's while defending its own approach to the Labour MP, and the BT has revealed free broadband offer it had made to the education sector. BT Basic, is the name implies, a pretty basic service offering a phone line and 10 Mbps broadband service to anyone on universal credit or other benefits for £10 a month. It seems that Gavin Williamson did not find an invitation to subsidise a slow service which would still leave a family struggling to video stream lessons very attractive. If you didn't know about the people, the BT Basic, I mean, I don't know if you're listening, you guys, you go to Citizen Advice Bureau, they also they give you that incentive to, struggling on benefits, go on a BT Basic. Do you know what? I think BT broadband, it's got to be the most fastest fibre optic. It's the fastest broadband. I don't know about Virgin, I know Virgin got fibre optic, but BT is the most standard one. Rather than get TV, you're better off with BT broadband, aren't you? Than have TV. If you've got a desktop with a widescreen desktop, why would you get a 50-inch TV on your wall? Why on earth would you get a 50-inch TV on your wall? Does EastEnders look better on a 50-inch TV than it does on a 20-inch widescreen desktop? Because on a desktop you can do everything. You need to sit there like a couch potato watching TV all day long. What can you learn from watching EastEnders? Oh no, Cat Slater kissed Phil Mitchell. Oh no, Cat Slater kissed, you know. This is what, you know, this is where reality people, traditional people are messed up in today's age. Today's modern society, there ain't no traditional but bona fide conservatism people around anymore. All the old school people are gone. All the old school people are gone. I mean, all I do is my stereo. I've got 0 friends, and I don't go out meeting people willy nilly. I've got no interest in people anymore. I mean, before time, I've kept myself on my own for 3 years. Got in a slight mix up like last 2020, and pretty much the same just happened this year. After 3 years running and being on my own, I think I've got monstrosity written on my forehead. You know, I need to keep myself, as I've always been, keep my head in the books and just focus on myself. Same as everyone else, we need to focus on ourselves. Focus on a better you, better human being. I always say work on that progression. You want to be adequate, you know, in your way of thinking, in your thoughts, the way you produce yourself. I mean, I'll go on this thing called, I don't know if you guys have heard me, so I'm like, you know, wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm not going to say too much because it's nothing. It's embarrassing situation. But I spoke to the opposing party, and they just said, yeah, it's banned, just, you know, messing about, whatever. But yeah, I was just talking to a friend, and it got blown out of proportion. You know, it got blown out of proportion. I've had to defend my rights to another human. I can't be bothered. It's like, it's spitting dummies out of pram. But yeah, you can speak to an opposing person on stereo, and it becomes apparently flirtatious. You know, when I don't know, we could be like 500 miles apart, 600 miles apart for all I care. But it's just pure bants on the stereo. You know, it gets like EastEnders, acting as such, but not in person. Not even knowing where they are. Not even knowing, you know, anything really. Anyway, moving on, ladies and gents. Just saying what EastEnders are like. There you go. And the reality. This is why I sit here, keep myself maintained. This is what I'm going to be doing, keeping etiquette with sense and style. Nevertheless, having failed to come up with convincing answers to closing the digital divide. During last spring's lockdown, both the government and telecoms giant are now scrambling to show they can do better this time around. Bear with me, gents, I'm off. I've got to go. I've got to knock at the door.